Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Keegan Cooper and I'm your host of Story Behind the Story. This week we're going to talk to Justin, Angel, and Cameron. They each have wonderful stories and I can't wait to get the juicy details. First up is Justin Quick. We're going to talk about some Bearcat football. How are you doing, Justin?
Pretty good. How about you?
You know, I'm doing great. It's homecoming week and I am super excited to the festivities. We've got the Bearcat football game and that is, it's a big game this week. So last week Bearcat football team played Pittsburgh. Can we just talk about that a little bit? Big game for Northwest, getting that win, pulling that one out.
It was definitely a huge game in terms of the conference. I mean, Pitt was at the top of the conference, and Northwest was able to go in there, go to Pittsburgh, into the jungle as they call it, and get the win and get themselves back in the front runner seat of the conference. Basically, if they win out now, conference is theirs, and obviously if they win out, their spot in the playoff is for sure. But it gives them a really nice foothold on the top of the conference.
What did Coach Wright have to say about that win for Northwest and what it means moving forward for the rest of the season?
He really emphasized that they played a good 30 minutes. They played a really good first half, went into the halftime up 28-0, but he was kind of disappointed in the way they played the second half. Came out a little flat and just weren't able to get the success they had in the first half, sustain it throughout the entire game. So I think that's something they're really going to look forward to, is sustaining the success of that first half against Pitt, the entire game against Kearney.
The game is going to be a real nail-biter. I mean, the stands are going to be packed, families are going to be here, alumni. What can we see? What's the atmosphere going to be like? Can we even begin to describe what it's going to be like to be on there?
It will probably be a little bit more like the atmosphere of the first game against Western. You've got, they're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the 1998 championship team. So you got that going on. You'll have the, crowning of the homecoming court. So it'll be a lot of festivities, but also there'll be a pretty good football game being played. I mean, Kearney's coming in 4-2. Averaging over 300 yards on the ground, which is something Northwest kind of prides itself on, is being able to shut down the run. So they're averaging 300 yards on the ground, like I said, and 3 touchdowns on the ground per game, and Northwest hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown in 19 games.
What do you think is going to play in, besides the run game, what else do you think could be a factor in the game?
I think another thing that's going to play in is Northwest, the defense is getting really healthy. I mean, they got Althoff back now for a couple games, and they've got a cornerback that they haven't had for the first part of the season. They've done some rotation with the secondary, so they're kind of being, caught up to speed there. And the secondary not falling asleep against a run-heavy team, a triple option team like Kearney, is going to play huge because they've gotten away from giving up those big plays that they were giving on early in the season.
What did Coach Wright have to say about, Nebraska Kearney coming in? Did he have anything to say to lead into the weekend, what he can expect, what he expects out of the guys on the field for the entire game?
We said they're definitely not underestimating them. He said Kearney's been a team that, in the past people have looked at as kind of an easy win for Northwest, but he said they're a good team this year. They're a different team this year. They run the triple option, obviously, and they said they run it differently than a lot of the teams that Northwest has faced that run the option, like Pitt State. He said they're more of a conventional triple option team.
Nerves can always be a part of this game. Football it's like that. Do you think that Northwest quarterback and Kearney's quarterback, are they going to be able to handle it? I mean, playing with that amount of pressure, it's really hard to do. What do you think is going to happen?
I think last week against Pitt will give Braden Wright a really good, boost in his confidence in handling pressure, because early on in the game it was loud. I mean, the stadium was full. It was, number 8 Pitt versus Northwest. Anytime Northwest comes down against Pitt, it's always a big game, and he handled the pressure incredibly in the first half.
I want to thank you for taking the time to come talk to me today, Justin. Got the updates on Bearcat football, and I look forward to seeing this game. We'll be right back with Story Behind the Story live here on Facebook and KZLX. Next up, we'll talk to Angel about Dylan Marin coming to campus. Hi everybody, we're back with Story Behind the Story. I'm Keegan Cooper. Next joining us is Angel. How you doing, Angel?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm super excited. I was talking to Justin. It's homecoming week. Walkout days tomorrow, and I am super excited for all the festivities. We've got the Bearcat football game, just all kinds of stuff. But I'm here to talk to you today about Dylan Marin. So for those of us who don't know, can you tell us, who is Dylan Marin?
Dylan Marin is a big digital creator. He has podcasts, videos. He makes different kinds of videos. He's a big figure in the LGBT community.
When did he come to campus?
He came to campus, last Thursday, October 4th, and he came as a speaker for the SAC Speaks lecture series.
So how did Dylan start? Where did his career kind of all start in mass media and all, being a part of all this?
He started as an actor. Like he spoke at his speech in PAC. He talked about how he wanted to be the Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 3 because he lived in New York, and so all the schools had the ability to send kids to audition to be the next Kevin McAllister, and he was set. He was totally confident that he was going to be the next Kevin McAllister.
I know during his time here, he participated in a Q&A with some students. What did that entail? Kind of what did he kind of focus that on, and what were they able to ask questions about?
So he spoke to media students in Wells Hall, and I think one of the TV classes actually came in to hear him talk, and so he gave us a little intro on who he was because it was before his talk. And then he just opened the floor for students to ask about maybe challenges that he has making podcasts, or his transition of having an idea and turning it into an actual production.
You guys kind of got to meet him a little bit before, and then with his lecture series, what were some topics that he focused on? Just challenges and stuff that he had?
So the lecture series, he started with his whole experience as being an actor, trying to become the next Kevin McAllister, and then just turning into the different projects he did. Like every single word was a video series of every word spoken by the people of color. And he did a lot of stuff during the 2016 presidential election because a lot of controversial issues were being brought up in the country. And so he had a series called Sitting in Bathrooms with Trans People.
What did the Student Activities Council Director T.J. Johnson have to say about, Dylan coming to campus and kind of what this means, and the amazing opportunity that was to have him here, just the experience?
TJ was really excited to have Dylan Marin on campus because he is a big figure in the LGBT community, and they've never done an event for LGBT History Month, which is October. And he was just glad to have a speaker with the merit that Dylan Marin has, and that preaches civility and just understanding that people have different viewpoints, and you need to communicate and discuss those different viewpoints.
Most definitely. I want to thank you for coming out and talking to me today, Angel. That's awesome. I'm excited that students were able to meet with Dylan Marin and kind of learn his story. We'll be right back with Story Behind the Story. I'm Keegan Cooper, your host. Next, we'll hear from Cameron, where we talk about the Hughes Fieldhouse partnering with the city of Maryville. Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Keegan Cooper, and I'm here with Story Behind the Story with Cameron. Cameron, how are you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good, man.
That's good, that's good. So we're going to talk about Hughes Fieldhouse partnering with the city of Maryville and kind of what that means. So kind of how did they come to this agreement? When did they make this agreement? When did it all happen?
Well, the Fieldhouse, they started construction on that, would have been 4 years ago. I was at the city council meeting on Monday where they finalized the contract for their agreement in terms of like who's going to use the Fieldhouse, or when they can use the Fieldhouse. They didn't specifically say when they first came together. I imagine it was probably something that they had talked about before they even decided to start construction for the Fieldhouse. It was part of their plan to come to an agreement as far as like deciding when the city can use it and when the school is going to be able to use it. So,
what are some of the events you think the city might use it for? Coming out. I mean, it could be just anything.
It could be almost anything. I think the Greg McDaniel, he's our city manager. He wants to use a lot of it for athletic tourism. So I think holding other sporting events, basketball. Obviously we have Bearcat Stadium, so we hold most of our basketball there. But any kind of athletic event outside of what we already hold, I think is a possibility going forward.
Will the Fieldhouse be open to students, the community? What does that kind of entail? Will people be able to go in there and kind of utilize it?
Students on campus, as far as I know, this is not 100% certain because I cannot say it's 100% positive. But from what I believe, students will be able to use the Fieldhouse almost like the gym. So they'll have a membership, and then they can use that a lot like they do with going to the gym here. Now for citizens in Maryville, they'll be able to use the the track, and a lot of the amenities that the students can use a lot in the same way. They have to have a membership either through the gym here on campus or through the city Parks and Rec department. So in the same way, they'll just get a membership card. And Matt Baker, he's our VP of Student Affairs. He told me that they're planning on having the fieldhouse open from about, I think he said 6 till noon every day, weekdays, and then weekends they haven't figured out the time, so that'll be the time opening for citizens of the city.
So people will be able to go in there and kind of utilize it, kind of see the new facility that's built
Absolutely,
on
yeah.
campus.
And that's kind of part of the contract is they want the city to be able to use just as much as the people on campus. And,
We have this new beautiful building.
Absolutely.
And we want to utilize it, and that's going to bring in more people, the athletic tourism starting about that. What does that kind of mean for athletics as a whole here at Northwest? I mean, being able to utilize that, perfect example, we've had a lot of rain this week, but with the Hughes Fieldhouse, athletic teams will still be able to get in there and use that.
Yeah, I think just not only for just practice ability like you talked about, I think it's a great recruiting tool. Northwest itself, even before the field house, it's pretty easy to recruit students. We're the top football program, and we won the basketball championship just 2 years ago. But I think that just kind of furthers that.
And the Hughes Fieldhouse will be used for pretty much everything. My hope, fingers crossed, it may never happen, but if graduation's ever housed in there, I think that would be pretty cool.
Could possibly be.
Yeah.
You never know. It's kind of how it says. You really never know at this point what event they might hold there.
But a great addition to the campus of Northwest. I'm glad to see that the City of Maryville has partnered with them. They're going to be able to utilize it too. It's a great, just a great opportunity for everybody now. But I want to thank you for coming out and talking to me today, answering these questions. We've got a lot of information. I'm excited about the Hughes Fieldhouse, and I'm ready to see, kind of what events go on, maybe even attend some out there and, kind of get out there and run on the track. Maybe we'll see intramurals in there too. But I also want to thank all of our guests today for coming out and joining us. Justin Quick for talking about us with Bearcat football. Angel for joining us with Dylan and Marin, and Cameron for talking to us about the Hughes Fieldhouse and this agreement with the City of Maryville to kind of get them involved in using it too, get the community to be able to use that too. You can catch Story Behind the Story live on Facebook and KZLX at noon on Thursdays, or during Student Media Day, or Monday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. live on KNWT Channel 8.